Okay, I'd like to call to order the Westerly Public Schools School Building Subcommittee meeting for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. The time is 6 o'clock. Members present are Dan Lathrop, Mark Arceau, Mark McKinnon, Chris Lunn, Mike Ober, Giuseppe Giancarelli, Cindy Kirchhoff, and myself, Justin Hopkins. We also have as guests Deb Reading from Downs, our owner's project manager, and Ashley Prester from DBVW, our architect for Springbrook and Downs. Did I miss anybody? You should have all received meeting minutes from our August 13th meeting. If there are no modifications to the minutes, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I do not see any members of the public here for public comment, so we will go to approval of invoices. So, as is customary for our first meeting of the month, we have a pretty extensive list of invoices for approval. There is one item to note that went out in the Downs packet, and that involves Prime Consulting Testing and Inspection Services. The total amount is mislisted in that summary. That amount is actually $8,148. So when it gets to that section, I'll reference that number and the subsequent invoices. So the way that we will try and get through these expeditiously are, what I'll do is I'll read off the invoice amounts. I guess first I'll ask if there are any questions, but I will not ask the body if there are any questions. Just please speak up if you have any questions, and if none, somebody can make a motion in a second. All of these invoices have been reviewed by the OPM and the designers as applicable to applications for payment, etc. So, okay. First invoice is DBVW invoice number 2318-26 for professional services for Dunn's Corners and Springbrook through August 31st, 2025 in the amount of $36,593.42.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Next one, TSKP invoice number 230601-25 for professional services for State Street Elementary School through August 31st, 2025 in the amount of $12,678.47.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Next one, O&G Industries, application for payment number 12 for State Street Elementary School through August 31st, 2025 in the amount of $1,383,512.65.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Next one, Tower Construction, application for payment number 13 for Dunn's Corner in Springbrook through July 31st, 2025 in the amount of $2,415,962.72.
So moved. Second.
The only thing that I'll reference here is this is for July 31st, not August 31st. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Next, Prime Consulting Testing and Inspection Services at Dunn's Corner, Springbrook, and State Street through August 31st. I'm just reading this, that this is actually for State Street and Springbrook through August 31st, 2025, in the total amount of $8,148, which represents invoice number 23284 for State Street in the amount of $3,296, and invoice number 23281 for Springbrook in the amount of $4,852.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Next, Collier's Project Leaders Commissioning Services at Dunn's Corner, Woodbrook, and State Street through August 31st, 2025, in the total amount of $14,137.20, which include invoice number 1088645 for Dunn's Corner in the amount of $5,136.84. Invoice number 1088643 for Springbrook in the amount of $5,149.70. And invoice number 1088644 for State Street in the amount of $3,850.66.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Next, Downs Construction Company invoices number 23 for OPM services through August 31st, 2025, in the total amount of $24,670, which includes Dunn's Corner Elementary School at $7,160, Springbrook Elementary School, $7,160, and State Street in the amount of $10,350.
So moved.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, we just spent some money. Any other invoices that were not on this list?
We are good for this meeting.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is owner's project manager / architect update.
Thank you, Dustin. As we all know, we got over a huge hurdle and school is in session. Schools are open. Thank you to everyone here, especially Mark, who has managed to keep his sanity the last week or so. To give an update on Dunn's and Springbrook. I'll let Ashley. Look.
For the record, I know I did roll call, but we also have in attendance Chris Duhamel and Audrey Colbert.
Thank you.
Always late.
It's okay. We got right into it.
All right, well, as Deb said, we got our TCO, it was down to the last hour. We got it on Friday, the 29th at 4 PM, we were scrambling. There are some items that are on the punch list that are in yellow that the AHJ wanted to see fixed by, and they wanted a date, so the contractor provided a date of the 19th. We said either the 12th or the 19th. They chose the 19th, which is next Friday. We have a building, a job meeting the Thursday, the day before that. I walked the site before this meeting today. Not exactly all roses and unicorns right now, but they're making an attempt. I don't think it's a very earnest one right now. You know, we haven't really heard of them being on site very much. We have not gotten any schedule from them whatsoever. When people are on site, there is no management. It's just the subs showing up and doing work. It's not focused on certain items. You know, paint, we don't put no paint right now. I mean, yes, it needs to get done, but it's not the critical stuff right now. So what we've done since the punch list, we had all our teams go out the last 2 weeks of August. We assembled a punch list. It's a couple thousand items between both buildings. And I went through this week and monetized them with my consultants. And we've come up with about $1.35 million in money that should be held back. That is a minimum. You are well within your rights to say we want to hold more. There's actually, I'm going to even up that a little bit because with my walk today, I caught a couple things that I didn't see when I was there in August that's missing. So I want to add a couple more items to it, a little, you know, a few $100s here and there, but it ticks up very much. So the state of the project budget, I know this is normally Deb's realm, but I at least said the contract right now is 16.857. 1.3 million is about 10%, or 1.5, 1.6. So we're around 91%. So it got pretty far. There are some items that we want to see, fixed ASAP. So, we'll see how they do, when we, see them next week. It's pretty much my update, unless you want to have anything else.
Actually, what are some of the items that are on the?
Dunn's Corner, it is not a life safety issue, but Dunn's Corner failed the 60-hour battery test for the fire alarm system. They had done calculations, the contractor, either the battery's bad or the calculations are wrong. The HJ asked for them to fix that. So we need to see that by the 19th. There's some drywall concerns in the fire pump room at Springbrook. I didn't have a chance to see it. It was locked when I went there today. Like they hadn't grouted the frame, but they caulked the frame to make it look like it was grouted. So, things like that. So there were a lot of open electrical boxes at the time. They were still removing all the fire alarm at Springbrook, which they are still doing. So we have a lot of boxes that don't have any plates on them. Some have wires, some don't. It's all dead at this point because we have the new system working. For example, updated fire alarm plans at the alarm boxes. We don't have those, little things that the HJ is going to look for if they got to respond. Some signage issues, site, for example, even though this photo shows some nice grass, it's really just weeds right now. A lot of it is dirt. It's not stabilized in any way. So every time we get a rain, it washes into the road. And it's going to get worse and worse if they don't do something about it.
When will they hydroseed, even put the plants down? Those are still living around.
Looking for dates, Joe.
We've been asking for schedules, we've got nothing, so, that's not a critical item for occupancy, but obviously to stabilize the site.
Right.
We don't want them to plant too late, because then they won't grow. And then we'll be in the same boat we were last year with plants dying over the winter. So,
At Springbrook, they have card reader issues. They can't get into the building.
yeah, we have some door lock issues that Mark is absolutely going above and beyond right now.
Coring issues.
I think,
Coring issues.
yeah,
What was that second issue?
Coring.
key
yeah.
core issues.
They gave them the wrong schedule to their vendor, so the boxes came in with the wrong core sets, and so Mark's been struggling through that. The PA system isn't working in the project lab and media center.
Which they haven't taken occupancy yet, but they need to immediately.
Right.
And I told them that is absolutely essential to daily school operations and
Yeah.
safety.
Project lab was turned over today.
Okay,
So we have a TCO.
we have a TCO, which means
Do we have any items in this list that put us at risk of losing occupancy?
that is up to the HJ.
It's somewhat conditional. Don't know how firm they're gonna be from the 19th if it's not done. They gave Tower plenty of options for getting it done when it would be done, and but the night.
So I'll ask you this way then, are there any life safety issues that are still outstanding?
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff I couldn't see today,
Yeah.
like that fire pump room. This was something that we had addressed a couple months ago and it was done wrong. So when I punched it, I said, you gotta fix it. There was no time. So the fire chief said it was adequately safe. But it's something that needs to be corrected. It's not anything that's gonna be a risk for children or staff at this point.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, Fire Marshal Babola has not signed off.
He has not signed off on the
He's not
fire
signed
alarm.
off because of the battery backup. I know Mark has proceeded to change out his, which probably because it's rare that you see these batteries die, was probably because the batteries have, 72-hour life they got?
They shut down the building for a week and a half when they switched the building over. And we
And they
think
left
the
it- they
building,
left
the batteries
The
got run
battery
down.
connected and it got run down. So Mark has gone ahead and replaced the battery in his main panel, but the panel that supports the new addition, we don't know where that's at. I haven't seen anybody out there
That is a critical item because Bobola was
Yeah.
very clear
He's got to
that
sign off on that for that to become an official TCO. On the
official CO at that point, yeah.
Or CO, yes.
As far as I mean, I want to issue substantial completion on the 19th. We have not issued that yet. That's when the warranties start. That's when we have all these major, any items in yellow are done and, on the punch list. And, and I've assigned values to things that normally would come during the punch list, like as-built, training, O&M manuals, tab reports, New England chips. Oh, there's a ton of different stuff that we have. We at least have a monetary value, so we can issue substantial completion and hold money back, so that they can eventually do that.
If we want to.
If we
also
want to.
If we decide not to, that can be a decision, the committee. I honestly recommend that we don't. At least we need to get our O&M manuals, we need to get some owner training. Mark has no idea how these new buildings function. And there's been nothing scheduled, no attempts. He's been requesting daily for these meetings and nothing, so.
And we have been hearing information, a little bit of information from the contractor, but then when we confirm with Mark, it's not what's happening. They're saying they're training as they go, but we're not hearing anything. We're not seeing videos of them scheduled, so they, our engineers could attend, the commissioning agent could attend. We're not hearing any of that right now. They hit their deadline and then they kind of bolted.
So are they aware of what, first of all, you attach this to the substantial completion certificate and those warranties don't come into effect until the date of final payment.
Correct.
I'm more concerned about the items that are on this list that affect TCO or affect CO.
Yes.
So are they clear on what needs to be done?
They are
they
absolutely
communicating?
correct. You can see on that first page, there's a note saying the yellow items need to be complete by September 19th. And every day when I turned over the punch list, I gave them the punch list that night of what I saw that day, and they had all the yellow items. So every day the list accrued with whatever areas in the building I was in. My engineers did the same thing. So they know what they have to do. A lot of it was open electrical boxes. So hopefully they went through and just put plates on all of it. That's what we're hoping for.
Are any of these items in dispute?
It depends on what you call dispute. There's the thought of either the subcontractors or the general contractor on whether they own something because they haven't been familiar with with the document and the spec. So.
But either way, it's in the documents and the specs and Tower owns it. The particular subcontractor making it. And that's their own buyout issue of the project.
Correct.
They contracted it.
I guess I'll put it another way. Is there any item that is listed that will be required for substantial completion that you are being told is not owned by the contract?
I would say no. The battery one is the closest thing that I would say they're gonna argue that it was an older battery, but they own the calculations. I have a shop drawing saying they did the calculations and it didn't pass. So they knew they were adding to the system. They had to do that. We spec'd it that way. That's the only thing. But as far as we know, the electrical contractor is complying with that. That kind of leads us into a little bit of, I don't know if you want to bring them up to speed a little bit on what we've been privy to the last 24 hours regarding the stuff. Yeah.
Subcontractors, as we probably would have guessed, especially the electrician, is getting very uncomfortable with not being paid. So, he understands that some subcontractors have been paid. He hasn't been paid since May, and he owed over $1 million. So I talked him off the ledge today, and he was threatening to lien the project that he can't lien and walk off the project that is critical. He's a critical element. And I told him that we have a payment coming for June that is with you. We were approving one tonight. They just dumped a bunch of certified payroll on me. I'm going through it now.
For July.
They turned off my access to their daily logs, so I've got to get access again so I can make sure we have them all. There's quite a few there. I think we're gonna do better than before. So hopefully we can get that payment turned around quickly for July that we just approved. And August will be at the next meeting. We held back. August is still in flux a little bit. And we held back on it because we didn't know if July was gonna need to be revised again if they didn't have the recs like they did last time, so. So he was very happy to hear that, and I told him, this is the owner of A&J. I told him that I would keep them in communication on what's going on, and he appreciated it because he hasn't been told anything by Tower.
So that leads me to answering your question, Justin, which is there anything that we're worried about regarding the yellow items on the punch list? If they continue having this dispute with Tower and they decide to walk, the battery calculation, some of the electrical items, removal of the old fire alarm, that's all in their court.
They're bonded,
For meters,
right?
yes.
Yes.
Then we should. I mean, I don't want to wait until Friday to figure out whether or not they're walking or not. So we need to have any mechanism to.
Are you asking electrical bond or the,
Yes.
Yeah, electrical Tower has the bond for the electrician. We do not hold that. We only hold the general contractor.
Right. So
Did Tower require bonding for the electrician?
No.
No, we didn't require subcontractor bonding. They put it in because they wanted to protect themselves within the process.
Yeah, we've never seen one, but yes.
Yeah, we haven't seen him. We've been told the whole time that his subs are all bonded, but we're not privy to it. It's not something, it's a contract between a contractor and a subcontractor. We don't see that information. We can't ask for it private with them, so.
I'll say this, they have staff at Springbrook right now working.
Yep.
So with them as contentious as they are, they're still working.
There were 2 electricians there tonight, yes. I was surprised when I saw their van, to be honest.
They
Yeah.
were at Dunn's yesterday, second shift, they're at Springbrook today, second shift. Wrapping up punch list items that we have prioritized for them.
I have to say that especially A&J, they have stepped up to get the project done on time. And so has the on-site supervision by Tower. They really stepped up to get everything done. This is coming from a higher level on the other issues. And I'm also working with A&J on another project now in Providence, and I'm finding them to be very confident. So,
And we're using anything, they're awesome.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I'm gonna talk to them again tomorrow. I will let everyone know if I think we're gonna have a problem.
Well, our contracts with Tower, and they're responsible for making sure that this battery is.
Absolutely.
I spoke to Al
No,
Poulos this morning and reminded him about it, and then he told me Crown, who is the manufacturer, the subcontractor for A&J, was chasing it.
Okay.
But I only have a verbal. I don't really have much beyond that.
Yeah.
So that's where we are with, I only have photos from my punch. I just did the walk today, but stuff we're still have going on. It's a pretty long list, but some things like aluminum doors and frames, those have been put in since I made this list. HVAC testing and balancing, lighting controls. The lights seem to be working okay, but you're nodding your head no. So, the exterior soffit painting, again, it's not a critical life safety item, but they did get that done in the last week. They did some sealant joints, electric baseboards they were doing at Springbrook tonight. There are some, like, we're having problems with the doors hardware and keying, which Mark is dealing with. The ADA door operators, they didn't really complete that, so they just shut the circuit off. So we currently don't have that functional right now. So there's some things that need to get done.
Mark, are you tracking your time that you're spending fixing some of these things?
Not mine.
If you could, just, or at this point, just let's figure out how much additional work that you're doing to correct some things that should have been installed correctly. Because in the end, if we're holding money, we need to justify that. So.
Yeah.
for keeping track of, like you said, last Saturday, you had to pay your staff 9 hours to be on site.
I've been keeping track of vendors and everybody else that's
Okay.
involved.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, there's like one spreadsheet that says that stuff. And I would just advise you, use your discretion, there's a certain amount of stuff that you guys need to do anyway, but if it's anything that's specifically due to extended hours or fixing things that you expected to be correctly installed, those are the types of things that we should be tracking.
Yeah, because like you can see on my little list here, it's very crude, but back charges, there's a lot of those. We have the testing agent, other things, and I think that will be the point person for that. For the town, and then added scope is the CCDs that we're waiting on all the paperwork. They just started rolling in. I got 2 change proposals today. I still haven't gotten any of the TNM. And so I'm hoping to get all that paperwork before you at the next meeting, but if not, it'll be October. Again, landscaping, playground striping was done as well. Canopy is not done. I was told it was showing up, but it's still not there. So
Is that the September 19th list?
this is not the September 19th list. This is just to let kind of the principals know what's left and let you guys know what's left to be done. So I have a copy. I gave Justin a copy for the committee. I have a couple more copies if anybody wants to see the punch list.
Actually, can I just ask you a question if you go back? That bit, police officer was in today and asked about security film. Is that anywhere? Is that with you, Mark?
Mark had asked me about that. It's not a requirement to have all the exterior windows be ballistic rated, but they are impact rated for hurricane. That will stop a blunt force or a 2x4. It won't stop a small projectile. If you are thinking about putting film on the windows, I would recommend engaging Pella. I can provide you the information for that because sometimes you change the properties of the glass. We had a polarizing film an owner put on glass and it all popped because it made the windows expand too much and broke the frame. So we want to make sure we don't change the properties of the window too much.
And also security camera. I don't see one in there. Is there gonna be one, are we putting one in the cab? Towards the door?
We have the infrastructure for it. We just have to get it purchased and installed.
And we have a few more around the outside of the building. You'll see there's a few boxes around for future cameras. So. At Springbrook, it's pretty much the same list. There's some, I'm concerned about the roofing. The picture you see here, you can notice the addition. This is a small addition on the end of the building. There's no roof edge. That's still not there. When I went by today. So I'm a little concerned about
The
that.
expansion joint still.
Expansion
wide
joint's
open.
not there. Yeah, wide open.
No downspouts.
No downspouts, no gutters, no scuppers. We have so the water is just pouring off the side of the roof right now. The overflow drain isn't even cut in on this roof, for example. So we don't have a backup system if it clogs. So there's a lot of work to be done on both buildings. That's the reason the punch list is where it is.
And Al told you about A&M.
Yeah, the roofer has been out of contact. We just for complete clarity, I don't have a picture of it here. I could show anybody pictures afterwards, but the metal roof on the media center is watertight for the purposes of keeping water in the building, but the quality is not what we expected. We're not going to be approving it. So I'm recommending no payment until we get the manufacturer involved. It's all scuffed up, bent, twisted, dinged, dented. It's a bad install.
Very bad.
Very bad. And we found out that the manufacturer didn't have record that their material was bought. So we're trying to find out if it's even the right product. So.
A lot more material on the roof for that.
Well, that's another thing. They put it on a roof that's not warranted yet because we'll get to that in a minute. So, did you get the window screens? I didn't remember to look today. I know we didn't have window screens because they didn't want them damaged, but we got to make sure.
I think they're there.
Yeah, so yeah, I got an item for that too. I mean, window screens to keep the insects out. We got to do that. Okay. Supposedly they're on site, but we don't know where. So that's kind of where we're at. And without their management Josh is still around, but Dennis has moved on.
Actually, Dennis is there right now.
Ed-
He was there last night. He's back.
Okay, he wasn't there when I was there. Maybe he's coming later, but,
He was-
okay. So any other questions on Dunn's and Springbrook main project? I think ultimately at this point, the monetized punch list is there to protect you guys, to make sure you get your contractual, what you bought. You know, we'll do our best to get them to adhere to times and get this stuff done. So,
I would just advise that we, similar to, the lead up to school starting, like, the timing of everything needs to be communicated to the fire marshals and the building official, right? Surprise them with anything.
Absolutely.
I honestly think they should be invited to the meeting on the 18th. Why not do a walkthrough the day before?
Absolutely.
So,
How do we do that?
you know,
You're in one of these buildings. How are you doing?
I'm doing, I mean, I think overall I think it's going well, but I mean, I didn't realize all these punch items that you're talking about, but you know, school's operational, the kids are doing great. I just have a question about fire alarm.
yes.
Our fire alarm is a horn, you know, like the old traditional horn.
Yes.
Is it supposed to be a talking one? I thought it was.
No,
No.
the threshold is 300 people. You need to have the voice evac. They did provide one that way at Springbrook, and I think you're looking to see if you can change that, or at least the announcement
Yeah, it
portion.
was asked of us if
Yeah,
it could be adjusted.
You can do that. It's just, we need to know the programming. You know, someone has to, we have a 1-year warranty, so the contractor should be able to do that for you as part of your training.
That'd be part of the training, right?
Yeah.
Or the O&M manual.
Yeah, your fire alarm was just extended from what that was replaced about 10 or 15 years ago, so it was still current. So let's go to another one. I'm sorry, I was a downer on that one. This one's gonna be no better, but I promise right after this will be a little bit better. Commercial roofing at Springbrook Roof. If you remember, we punched the roof back in October of 24. We have not issued substantial completion. They've gone silent as well. We're not getting any response from them. There's a lot of incomplete items. Garland is trying their best. They're not pushing the contractor because they're the manufacturer, not a contractor, but they're holding the final inspection to try to get the contractor to finish the work, but it hasn't worked. They forgot about us basically all summer. You can see there's still debris on the roof from them working. Cupola's not done. There's a lot of things done. We don't have any snow guards over the doors that we own. My recommendation, we currently have outstanding on that building, $115,824. I'd like your permission to send a 7-day letter for them to finish by September 30th, or we're gonna terminate the contract and pay someone else to finish.
How much is it realistic that the work can be complete by September 30th?
I can give them full 30 days. I mean, we're talking the 10th now, so I could say October 15th. I just don't want to wait too long, because then we might lose our window for getting someone else in. I know you have Pawcatuck or someone. So there's another. Yeah, so we might be able to utilize a contract that's already in the town.
It's the major thing is the cupola. Everything else is little.
Okay, so there's enough money left there to.
Definitely. It's the retainage plus several items that they haven't provided.
Was this bonded?
There is a bond. That's the other option that we could do, but that's a more contentious. It's almost easier if we are confident, and I'll talk with Deb offline, that if we have the 115, that's enough to do it. My gut says yes.
And just the only thing of the contractor even hears a threat of a call bond.
We've already called
Already
it.
called his bond company. I assume he's been told.
No,
If he
they
was
didn't
shown,
react.
Yes.
They didn't react to
They
that?
didn't react.
Cricket.
That's weird.
The bond company was
Yeah.
very concerned
I'm sure.
that they weren't done.
Because it's been a year and a half,
Yeah.
you know, so. So I don't think I need a motion. I just want to, if Justin, in your opinion, we give them the full 30 days from the 7-day notice.
I would hold it to September 30th, but just, and let them tell you that, okay, yeah, we'll go, but it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Let them tell you,
Right,
Okay,
maybe at least saw something, right? And then.
because if you don't get a response by September 30th, then
well, if I don't get a response, if I write the letter this week by the 12th, say Friday, then it would be by the 19th if I don't, or, yeah, but, yeah, 7 days calendar. So I don't have it by the 19th. Do I need to copy town solicitor on this or
I'm
anything?
looking at it, that's crazy.
Town council or anybody else?
Day's work.
I mean, I can just copy Dr. Garso and Justin for the committee and just leave it at that if you feel that the town.
yeah, I think the town conversation will be more when we terminate the contract.
Okay. All right. I mean, overall, it looks like it's weathering pretty well, but there's like, it's like you could see the wires there. They were supposed to put that on conduit that comes right around the front of the building and flaps in the breeze every day. So good news, I guess, is middle school roof.
Good news.
Good news, middle school roof. I'd like the committee's authorization to start back up the middle school roof. We had tabled it in April because we didn't feel we were gonna hit the summer season. I would like to submit to RIDE on the schedule I have right here, basically 3 months in a row, bang, 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 get it ready for the end of the year, bid it in January, and then we're off to the races. I don't know if I need committee approval on that, but before
I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're hearing consensus.
Okay.
Is this is a prior capital,
well, I'm gonna ask you that in a second.
Approval, right, the recent approval.
Yeah. This is part of the new bond, the new capital project, stage 2 that you,
talking about funding,
funding, yeah.
it's not,
It
Is
was
it part of this?
included, it's included in our proposed FY 27 request. It was in our request for this current fiscal year, and it was removed at the council level.
Oh, boy. So we might not have money for it, huh?
At this point in time, we do not have allocated funding for that project.
Okay,
So my thunder,
Then here,
yeah.
I'm asking for it.
yeah,
So we have it ready just for 27.
All right, so we're gonna sit on this another year then?
well, do we have allocated the professional services to do?
Yes, we
Okay.
have that. So this timeline would work with construction not starting till July if this funding
Okay,
passes and it's in place.
okay, that's good. Yeah, and right now, we don't have any left. We've already done the schematic design drawings. We're ready to submit to RIDE. We just need permission to have Deb open the portal with RIDE.
Geez, they still make you go through those phases for basically a one.
Well,
trip.
Because it's over 500,000, that's why.
so,
I mean, there've been some, I'm working on a phase 1 demolition and abatement package that's part of a larger project. It told us in Providence, they told us to submit it to the express portal. But
I tried to do that with Springbrook, remember, and then we got tumbled into the queue.
well, we have time to do it this way.
I would love for them to tell me, just do it once and we're done, and then I'm all set. So,
Can I, let me ask a question here really quick, everyone. From our experience now with commercial roofing and with A&M Roofing, who's been working for power.
steal my thunder, it's on the next slide.
You bet. You bet. I was doing 100.
So, couple things, I had one for Cindy, was that, it sounds like, we don't have any of the current funding for phase 2 was pushed back. Because we didn't allocate the funds in this fiscal year, we pushed it back to next year. So, it doesn't look like there's any other money. I'm just trying to see if we could reduce the roof scope from 3 years down to 2. So you still get your new roof, but we get it done quicker.
Like talking with Dan Wall with Garland, the amount of putting 2 scopes together, 2 phases together is a big lift over a summer slammer.
Which is, you you teed me up right for my next thing, and I know you're not gonna like me for this, but does the committee wish us to pursue any other roofing materials? What we have for base bid is garland. That goes anywhere from about $45 to $55 a square foot. I've noticed I've learned with garland with you guys. This is the first time I've done garland roofs. They sell a great warranty, they sell their observation. But it's a very labor intensive installation with the 2 layers and all the flashing and the detailing. Like we had people on the roof for months finishing the roof at both Dunn's and at Springbrook last summer. I would like the committee to consider a TPO alternate, which is a single, we do an 80 mil membrane, not 60. We'll go with something a little bit thicker. It provides a 30-year warranty. It's a heat welded system. It's a quicker install because they're just putting out huge rolls of the stuff. They're not working with 6-foot rolls, 2 layers. I think it might be something that might
What's
be.
the downside to that?
We use, the downside,
Like,
I don't know that there's much of a downside.
why wouldn't we do it?
Well, Garland sells you on, their upfront, their moisture testing, which they actually said they wouldn't provide the second time, which I'm gonna have to push back on them if we stay with Garland, because the last one was a few years ago. They also push you on the daily observation of the roof being installed.
But we found that they're not consistent with that, unfortunately.
Yeah, if the
Right.
roofing company doesn't call them, they don't show up. They're not active with that. And we've had some issues on Dunn's where work was done, and by the time they showed up, it was done and everyone was gone and they didn't observe anything.
They just shrugged.
More of a coordination problem with the project itself, and I think with Garland.
And that is the other problem, though. You have very few subcontractors who are dealing or are certified as a Garland installer.
Yeah.
And those 2 already, I don't think we'd want to hire again.
If we're gonna terminate commercial's contract and we're gonna reject the metal roof on Springbrook, that's 2-year contractors right there. I don't know, but TPO also, it opens you to a much bigger pool of larger roofers. You get Titan Roofing and Gateway, and there's a whole bunch of larger companies that can do this stuff night and day.
So it sounds like the only difference is that their roof is double layered, is that right?
There is some redundancy in that, yes. We still do a cover board with the TPO, so there's a hard layer of gypsum below the roof, so it helps the puncture resistance.
Yeah.
And then we up the membrane to an 80 mil. We can even go to 100 mil, but that's just more cost, but.
And what we could do is either bid the TPO as the base, looking at an alternate for the Garland, or the other way around, the Garland with a deduct alternate for the TPO, just so we can see the pricing. When you're going out to bid,
Yeah.
that's the time to do it.
And I know we've had change proposals in the past. I feel confident I can do this lift within my current fee. We actually have another roof job going on in another town, so we kind of are gonna,
Copy and paste.
Kind of same details.
economy of details, yes.
Never admit
It's, we're kind of treading into some territory here that I think I want to allow Mark, some of the facilities folks, have an opportunity to voice preferences. Between, because I'll be honest with you, if I was in Ashley's position, I'd be making the same argument. However, I know that Garland is the district standard, in the district. What do you guys have in?
I didn't use in Garland.
So I think you need to have the opportunity to voice the preference.
Garland is everywhere in the district. We work well with them. We've even had good relationships with A&M and commercial in the past. The high school roof was partial. Dunn's roof before this project was done by those guys. You see on these pictures, I had a ton of aging mechanical on this roof. I have constantly foot traffic on this roof. Repairs are being done all the time. These units are aging and need to be replaced, but we're band-aiding them along. We've got a good preventive maintenance program going. There's constant traffic on that roof all the time, and it will continue to go on. We have estimates that were put forward. The spring brick roof came back under all our estimates that we provided, so I'm confident that this will turn out to be the same. We won't know until bid day comes, but I'd like to stay consistent with everything we have in the district, warranties and personnel and everything we have.
I'm not trying to disrespect you at all.
No, you just haven't provided me anything that would sway me to go to another option.
Yep.
Okay.
Good thing you said something. I like Ted's idea. We do a alternate, either a deduct or an add. You guys can see the difference in costs. And, I can even bring Dan down here to pitch his case if we need it.
That's really all we need to know today. And I think that would be a good idea. It make everyone feel, more satisfied knowing that. Say, wow, $1 million or, well, it's only 200,000. There you go. That's what you needed to know, right?
Well, I'm looking at it from the perspective that, like you said, 2 phases would be a hard lift. I'm thinking if it's the membrane, it might go quicker. You would be able to expand the scope a little bit and get a second classroom wing or something like that. Get a little bit more scope for the same amount of money.
I'm
But-
also hesitant with that with funding. Died one time, I doubt I can pull enough of it together to get 2 phases in one shot.
And this was listed as part of the capital projects in our approved stage 2 application. So I think part of, we're gonna get into the capital request. Cindy has listed, eligible for reimbursement, which I think is a differentiator from past submissions.
Okay. Is there any reason not to do the alternate, or, I mean, you're still okay with this, the alternate at this point? Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, I would I would order it so that the basis of design is the base scope and the alternate is the alternate material.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll list it either as a deduct or an add, because we're not gonna presume one way or the other, and we'll let the bidders tell us what it is.
So- And we can put a duration on it, see, it's a little shorter duration,
Yes,
change in schedule,
yes.
in schedule,
Okay,
sounds good.
all right, I think that's it for me. That is it for me. Sorry it took so long on that, but,
It's okay.
so you'll continue to see me for a little while.
Do you have? Yes. Yeah, sure. And so, as you can see, TSKP and NCA are not here this evening. So, John prepared this little overview here. You have to hit escape. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is phase 1. The schedule basically is staying the same on State Street. You can see right here, I don't need to read you the dates, but we are looking to get FF&E into the building, maybe even as soon as the end of March and April, definitely, and have all the schools' technology installed so that the staff in the school can start moving over during the school year. Having that, I just went through this in Newport, waiting until the last day of school and then having everybody pack up and try to move. It just doesn't work. Everybody's going in the same direction. Moving companies moving, the teachers are moving. It's insane. So if we give people a month, 6 weeks to move into that new school gradually, I think it's going to work out much better. So we're working right now with Jeanette from TSKP to get that bid package out in November for the furniture. And then we can hopefully get it delivered and installed late March, early April. And we can get everything moving forward. So even though they have move in June to August, we'll be hopefully moved in well before that, because ONG's schedule right now is to take control of the building July first. To demo it, do abatement and then demo. So that's our schedule right now. Still on schedule, that's a good thing. This right here is just the current progress of what's going on with the building. I think everybody's familiar with this. And here we go. We're putting up the nail base right now in the building. They've got a lot of glass in. Believe it or not, these large areas you see actually have glass in them. So it's coming together. They've got at least 50% of their ductwork installed already. They're gonna be doing some duct leak testing on the second floor next week. And they're moving forward at a very fast pace. You can see here, this is up in the ceiling. It's the interior framing. They got a lot of electrical in there. This is the lower roof area. These are the curbs coming in, and more ductwork coming in. And what is this? Gable end plywood. Okay, this is over at the gable end. This is what's going on. This was a change proposal. I don't know if everybody remembers. This was to stiffen up the construction at the areas that have the overhangs that are unsupported, cantilevered off the building. We ended up putting plywood up in the ceiling to stiffen those areas. The rest of the building has drywall. And that's it. So everything's good over in ONG land. That's a good thing. Good contractor.
Do we have any, move management? What is the? I didn't want to imply that our move management coordinator is Mark, but do we have anything in our budgets for hiring movers?
I don't think we do, but I will work with you guys, of course. And I just worked with a fantastic moving company that moved out the school from 1955 in Newport. They moved them there. I gave them 11 days. They moved them in 4, which I just couldn't believe. So they're a very good company to work with. So we can talk about that when we get to it.
So these are always, and now I'm looking at Audrey. These are always a great opportunity to do the spring cleaning. So
Oh yeah, we've had them follow already.
Bring me when you find out.
Yep, yeah, she's purging like crazy.
The staff's ready.
I'm working in a district now that is on a similar path for next summer. They're moving out. We're building a building right next to an existing building. And one of the strategies that this district is using is if there are certain curriculum items that are like first quarter, that when they don't, I'm talking to the pros here.
Yeah. All over this.
That's like one question on the demolition, the abatement. Has any of that moved forward? Do we have companies involved? Do we have paperwork filed? I know we were kind of a little under the gun with Dunn's when that started. but we'll
Right.
Get in front of it for Stage 2.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that after the building, you're saying, yep. Find out who it, I don't even know who the company is, honestly. I'll find out from Ray and we'll get ahead on that for sure. We'll start talking about that, we talk about it now, but I will start actually making sure that's a bullet item in our OAC meetings every week, starting next year. So we stay on top of it, thanks.
So they have 8 weeks to demo and.
No, the demolition of the building will be going into the fall. But, we want to get that down, as much as we can get down before school starts is better, right? And work towards closest to the building and work away from it so that you don't have construction equipment.
It's gonna be logistical fun, trying to get buses and parents
Yeah.
while the building is being demoed in the driveway that they're gonna be utilizing. So, yeah, picture that.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, there are a couple things that are unknowns at this point. My understanding of it is that we have the total construction budget assumes the worst case scenario for hazardous material, right? So if we get into the building and the worst case scenario occurs, we have it encumbered financially. But I think the schedule also assumes that the worst case scenario for abatement is there.
Right.
So I'm optimistic that that will go quicker. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things you can't, if it was just demolishing the building, we could get it done by the start of school, but because it's demolition and then site development, that's the thing that gets us into November.
Right, right, we have to make sure that they're set on July first to get in there. And,
There's no appetite to move into the school.
yeah, maybe even sooner, we can hand that over for them to do their testing, right? Because that's what we want to do, get in there, get your testing done, find out what the scope is for that abatement. You're absolutely right. Everyone got a copy of the current budget, and I didn't see anybody fall over, but we need to look at it yet. We've been going over these CCDs. They're mostly outstanding right now, we're done, right, Andre?
Yes,
Yes, it's
Yes.
all, I think it's all done.
so several of them are T and M and we haven't received any subs yet.
Right. We have a $17,000 one for State Street right now for the mural that we approved at the last meeting. But besides that, we have the abundance of CCDs at $351,000 that are included right now in the project cost. Because again, I wanted to give you worst case scenario. So when we look down the bottom at our current contingency, we're at $1,251,459. That's including the cost of all those.
That's including all of the costs that are known, potential
known
costs that
right
are
now.
known but
Right.
not executed.
And we've had a couple of small change proposals come over, like we were saying, $2,000 for, guess for that.
$1,500.
But, honestly, I mean, we haven't seen anything come over to even substantiate most of those, high amount CCDs, so that would be an ongoing process, but we're working to get those prices way down. But this is worst case scenario, that's where we're at, and considering we have two of the schools almost off the books. So we're doing pretty good stuff. So,
Can I add something to that? I'm sorry if I'm sitting from the back row here, but on the monetized punch, on the general sheet, there's also a list of credits, things that we know the contractor either did not provide or did not perform. That we've been seeking credits, and there's a few TBDs that we have not issued yet that we plan on pursuing. So there's a fair amount of, especially DUNS, there's a fair amount of items that we're gonna be able to pursue.
Right. In costs over the course of the project, retesting, re-inspections from third-party testing agent, things like having them, just books. I don't know if you ever got reimbursed for those books. Oh, you did, that's wonderful. But we've had, in paper time and all that, so we'll be looking for that. And then one item is that, Eileen just had to, extend the builder's risk at Doug's Corner for almost $5,000. Since they're still in there working and we don't have an, permanent TCO in place, so, these are all items we can talk about going forward.
But that should be as soon as the substantial completion date gets executed.
Well, it was,
Substantial
you have to do
completion
it for 6 months, so she did it for 6 months. That was the minimum period, I guess.
Double checking it's fully earned, because a lot of those aren't always fully earned, so even though you have to pay for the 6 months, you can cancel and
Okay,
get the refund.
yeah, we'll make sure.
So
we
just
talk
double
more
check
about
on that.
Yeah. as soon as we have that.
They'll prorate
Yeah.
it sometimes on the extensions, even if the initial term, they won't prorate, they'll often prorate the extension.
Yeah, thank you for getting, yeah, we'll make sure that they know that, hopefully we'll get back a good chunk of that, yeah.
Okay, any questions for Deb on this figure? The one thing that I would like to see modified here is under construction costs, if we can list the bid costs and then the change amount under it.
Sure. You mean the amount of their change proposed, or change orders
Yeah.
today, you got it. Mhm.
But yeah, perhaps for the next one, original contract costs, approved change orders, pending change orders, just so we can understand what goes into the direct cost subtotal.
And the CCDs, those out, so you got it.
So, I mean, just off the cuff, There's 15.6 million, remaining in O&G's contract. There's, 4.3 million remaining in Towers contract. Based on the applications for payment we received this evening, for a total of $19.9 million remaining to be paid out. So if you just look at what the contingency number is based on the remaining amount of payment that we have, it's about 6.3% rather than 2.4% of the total project. I typically like to look at the burn
No,
rate.
that's
you know.
wise, right, because that is our exposure right now, right?
Where do we start with? We start with about the same percentage, right? About six.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
so that's about,
OG's been doing very well at giving us a heads up way down the road, looking forward, letting us know if there's gonna be an issue, so
Okay.
hopefully we're not gonna have any big surprises over there.
Okay, any other questions for Deb? Hearing none, there's no agenda. Okay. Ashley, you're free to stick around and listen to the rest of this, but if not, we won't be offended if you want to hit the road.
I don't mind leaving. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I want to recognize that not all building committees,
No, I appreciate the personal touch.
I was in one last week where they didn't have a quorum, but still wanted to have an informational meeting. And it ended up being a 2.5-hour meeting.
That had to be repeated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
But I have-
always beware of retirees that are, leading your growth. Many times they become the social hour. So, okay, next item on the agenda, capital projects update. Do you want to, so we have a capital projects update as an agenda item, but you know, if you want to get right into the FY 2027 capital request, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up? Okay.
Cindy has passed out to everybody the requests. I can speak to the facility requests. We're looking to purchase another vehicle between tech and facilities. We're transporting a lot of material boxes and it's just become trained to utilize and share vehicles, and we try to coordinate get stuff over there. The roof replacement we've talked about, we're looking to break it into still 3 phases, starting in next summer, fiscal 27. And then every subsequent year after that. That one is eligible for reimbursement. The HVAC upgrades, similar to last summer, this past summer, where we were able to put in some ductless air conditioning units. This one is eligible for reimbursement as well. The LVT flooring at Springbrook, these next 2 are EE items that came out of the bond, so we're looking to get them back in. The LVT flooring and the kindergarten wing was pulled out of the project. We had all the hallways, top and bottom, we had classrooms, so this would complete that project there. Dunn's Corner window replacements. This was another one that was pulled out. It's eligible for reimbursement as well. These windows might as well be original to the building. Some of them fall out when they open or try to be open. Some of them have been permanently screwed shut. Some don't have their crank on the window to open, so it is past due to get them replaced. And this is again, over 3 years, we'll phase it out, we'll prioritize the most important first and work our way through. The last one I have is for the bus garage parking lot. The town has been made aware of this. They're doing some minor improvements. These are giant potholes in this parking lot that just gets driven over day after day. It gets worse over the winter with the snow and the salting that happens. These get larger and larger ruts. So we're looking to make that improvements. This is a year 2 request to pretty much get all of the capital we need to complete front half and back half together. Those are my
But I asked why on this document we're saying these may be eligible for ride reimbursement. They are eligible.
They are assuming we do all our paperwork correctly and we follow all the steps and we get approved for it. We still have to submit and they have to approve our project for the reimbursement.
But based on their inclusion in the stage 2 approval, they are eligible for reimbursement. So I just think that probably before this gets circulated.
Yeah, I just want to take any confusion out of it before it goes to the town council.
Yeah, they're definitely eligible. They're not guaranteeing replacement. So I think we're still okay saying it is eligible.
We are submitting for reimbursement
Yeah.
on those projects.
There you go.
What's the track record on, or what's our batting average on submitting versus getting?
Last year was a window where we didn't do any for the capital projects. What did we submit for? Was it just the field? We did not. Yeah, we maxed out on what we could submit, and so a few projects weren't eligible for reimbursement.
Right,
But of the ones we submitted, how many were approved?
the ones we submitted, they were all approved. They
We're batting
required through.
That's probably worth mentioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and the fact that earlier this year, we received do we have an executed MOA?
Yes, we did.
Okay, yeah. So maybe helpful to include that in documentation that goes to the town. So
Just right now, anytime there's ambiguity, people are assuming the worst. So
Yeah.
just, that's all.
so the distinction. So the distinction of the CapEx work versus bond work is, our bond funded projects, the reimbursement occurs as we pay the bond, right? We get a percentage of we don't get the full reimbursement for our money. It gets prorated, according to the payments that we make. So we get, once we complete the projects, we get, those payments are through the life of the bond. The capital work every year is it June 30th or June 1st? I think it's June 30th is the deadline to submit reimbursement.
July 15th.
July 15th.
To get all the paperwork in.
Yes. So when that happens, we get reimbursement. We get the full reimbursement on the money.
Yes, based on project cost.
So if we assume that we would get 35% reimbursement on a $3 million capital request, the actual cost to Westerly will be $1.955 million.
So we would not be eligible for reimbursement on either of the vehicles.
Yeah, I
vehicle
didn't,
replacement or purchase.
Yeah.
And also the bus garage parking lot paving. We don't receive reimbursement on paving, and we also would not receive reimbursement on anything on that property since it is not a school district property.
but the point remains that we would be basically, the real dollars that we would be spending are 65 cents on the dollar for items 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, so assuming those projects, we received funding and they were substantially completed by June 30, 2027, we could receive reimbursement the next year. And that would be a revenue item on the town side, since this is a town capital request.
Mhm.
So since Mark went over his items, I'll tell you, the other ones. Number 7, security systems, district 200,000. This comes from our director of technology. It's for replacement modification of 120 cameras and additional cameras based on security assessments. And this project, it's not in our 5-year plan, so this one I may leave it. Is it in there? We'll check. If not,
Yeah. Been a while since I've looked at it.
it could be eligible under another SBA capital request. So I'll clarify that before I change any language there.
I do have network security upgrades.
You have that? Okay, that would fall under that. And then item number 1, vehicle replacement. This is all leases. replacing one large school bus with an electric bus. And this is partially funded by DEM funding that is in place. Replacing another large school bus with a full gasoline powered bus. The 180,000 there is on the high end, so the Director of Transportation has reached out to try to get a more accurate estimate before I forward this to the school committee, because I believe that's high. Replacing one minibus and replacing a van. So those are the requests that we have for fiscal year 27 town capital budget. So typically, we would request a recommendation from the building subcommittee to bring forth to the school committee at their next meeting on the 17th. And then the capital request and other necessary documents are due to the town manager by October 1st. Along with this memo, I did provide a capital balance update. So these are our capital balances for town funds. The first page shows fiscal year 26 and 25, and page 2 are all prior years that have remaining.
Cindy, do we have any money that's gonna be coming over to State Street for the playground?
Yes, so on the first page, under FY 26 capital, there's $554,450 for State Street. And below in FY 25 capital for Dunn's Corners in Springbrook, there is $476,390. So this is also why when we are invoiced for anything regarding the playgrounds, equipment and work, I need that separate on an invoice so I can charge it to the appropriate account, because that will come from capital.
I don't think that we pulled any of that into our available budget. Our budget.
I feel like it was represented at some point, so maybe just chase that on the
Yeah.
spreadsheet, but I agree, that would be.
Right, I have the transfer from 22 and I have a transfer from 24, 25. And I know we had been talking about it, but I don't think it's been officially done.
Did this include the HVAC work you were talking about on the middle school that needed to be replaced? That 400,000, is that, I just thought it was HVAC, but
Yes.
that's
was like-
the middle school that's the one that you were just talking about, right?
Yes, part of some of those were Springbrook, some of those were middle school, and one of them went to Dunn's. So with this new request, it kind of keeps it broad where I can kind of pick and choose which schools.
Yeah,
Where
when
it needs
needs
to
to.
go.
Yeah.
The most. Along the lines of the playground equipment, if you look in the second page down the bottom, it says fire alarm upgrades. That was for, Springbrook Elementary, which was in this bond. So that capital was set aside for that work, which is getting completed in the bond. So that's money that can be allocated or invoice can be used against that.
I do have a question about page 2. So are these items ongoing? Or are these like kind of done and then the remaining balance of these stuff?
A little of both.
You'll see that there's both. There's a status column and
Oh,
Mark and I continue to go through this. At some point in time, we may have a request of council to move funds from one capital line to another. So if a project is complete and there's a balance remaining and there's nothing to spend it on, we would want to repurpose that.
Some are ongoing, some are savings we found, and there's leftover balance we can spend.
If we just did $311,519 on camera upgrades for security, why do we need another 200? Like, it looks like we just did all that.
I don't think they had that money.
So that's a brief description. That's
Okay,
not just cameras per se.
okay,
So
all right.
The explanation of budget is what was achieved, what you got, the school committee got.
And then the balance is what's left, right?
Is what's remaining at this.
So
today,
we've spent
yes.
309 of the 311,
Okay,
I think, right?
I thought you were short of the budget. You needed 311, you only had.
1,000.
No,
Yeah.
Sorry, the balance is what's currently remaining.
Okay.
Mark, I see on here on the second page, we have partial roof replacement at the school with a balance of 314,700 left. Is that already allocated?
Well, that's where all these professional services
Okay.
are coming from.
A view.
Okay. The only thing that I think probably would be beneficial for the school committee and planning board and town council, to review is the nomenclature about reimbursement. In the memo.
And we'll make that update.
Okay, so I think what you're looking for is a formal recommendation to move this as we've discussed amending to the school committee, right?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions? And if not, would anybody feel comfortable making that motion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. So it needs to go to the school committee, and then to the town prior to October 1st.
Right, to the town manager for October 1st. That it's under town review, combined with the town's request, and then it goes to the planning board.
The only other question I had, and this is not about changing it. I know we have a minimum amount we have to spend on capital improvements every year, like a percentage of the budget. What's that dollar? It's like 3%.
Yeah.
What's that dollar amount? And how much more than that 3% are we asking for?
3% of your operating budget. She's got the calculator.
Yeah.
So we need to spend about 1.8 million.
Okay,
And is that allocated within the operating budget? And
It's
it-
operating budget and capital.
okay.
So especially with the bond project going on and all of the capital work, it has not been an issue for us.
I'm just, it's not, I was just, it could help.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
We already did.
Oh.
Thank you. If you want to do it,
There we go.
we can reinforce that.
I was trying to do calculation.
Okay, anything else for capital requests, capital project updates? Hearing none, next steps, dates again for Dunn's and Springbrook open houses and
October 16th for Dunn's.
What time, Joe?
I believe it says.
We anticipate a punch list on October 16th.
well, I'm hoping that the building will be in good enough shape, plantings will be planted, that we can have a ribbon cutting, right?
Absolutely.
Cafeteria open.
You're eating it.
Yeah, cafeteria's good to go.
Cafeteria's open.
Yeah, the kids are eating this. They love it.
Oh, it's 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, 6 P.M. Yeah.
Basement.
Okay. Are we thinking?
Lens on the light
outside?
cafeteria get replaced yet?
Yes, it
I'm
is.
sorry. Yeah, never mind, Joe. Okay.
Okay. Are we thinking we're gonna have this outside or inside?
What do you think?
I think it'll be nice outside.
Weather dependent.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily want to get in the way of all the parents that want to come see their kids' classrooms, but so if we can do it at the beginning.
Right.
I looked at, the sunset around that time in October. I think it's right at 6.
So maybe,
It's always like pitch black during that
And it's
It's
May
open
now.
house.
I
It
mean,
won't be
it-
pitch black on that site anymore.
I suggest if you're in a ribbon cut, you go 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
It's
say.
gonna be, it's just, 500 people. Go
Okay.
a little early and do
Yeah.
ribbon cutting at 5:30 or whatever.
There you go. Yeah.
If you're gonna do it outside.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And you're gonna let everyone go through the school afterwards.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. Yeah,
Open house.
absolutely. Great idea.
How about Springbrook?
They already do that?
No.
There's next Thursday, I wanna say, is that right? September,
18.
yeah,
Next Thursday.
yeah, I think so. I'm not positive, is that like a
Yeah, it's a little too close to, with all the stuff that's remaining. Okay, we're gonna need to come back to having that. So. Okay,
All right, I'm gonna email her, ask her to call me.
Sorry, Justin, you agree? It might be a little too soon?
Yes,
Yes, I agree.
so we need to identify a date for Springbrook as well.
What's your concern on Springbrook? We have a lot of punch list stuff, but the furniture's all delivered. We set that up, it's gonna look, the gym is eye-catching, it's appealing. They're not gonna know that electrical outlet doesn't work. Touch-up paint needs to happen on that door.
Is it too soon to, is it too short notice to schedule a ribbon cutting? In a week? Probably,
the word out and.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It might just be too soon, right?
yeah. Well, especially if we're not gonna do Duns until October 16th. I
Yeah.
think I'd rather kind of do them within a week or so of each other.
There's nothing beyond an open house.
Well, 16th is a Thursday. Perhaps we could do the 14th, a Tuesday. Can do it the same week. Go right from one to the other. Yes, let me know.
Yeah, Jen's is the 18th. Right, it was scheduled for the 18th. So I just checked with her.
You want to postpone it for a ribbon cutting, maybe we'll. Let her coordinate with somebody in that,
Yeah, I think so.
all right?
We can do one earlier at Springbrook and then I'll go over to Duns at 5:30.
Yeah, it might not, if you want like the staff there, it might not be a bad idea to do it like 3:30, 3:45.
Yeah.
On that day.
Should we just check with that team? Okay, all right.
October 16th.
That's fine. Okay.
So 3:45 maybe.
So how about their open house then? Are we changing both?
No, their open house is next week.
They're still gonna, they are.
We're just,
Yeah.
that's a little too, and it's a little too far apart between the two, I think, and it's a little too short notice to get. Make sure that we get all of our,
Will it be too chaotic to do both, even at,
I don't think so.
at Dunn's?
I don't think so.
Steady caravan.
Okay, so we'll plan for 5:30 at Dunn's, and we're just gonna verify if we can do 3:30, 3:45. That's Springbrook.
Yes.
And just make sure nobody's hitting the bar in between the two.
Are we actually gonna do a ribbon cutting? We need the scissors, all that?
I don't see why not.
Okay, I'll get the scissors. I'll bring them.
Okay. Anything else for next steps?
Yeah, the ribbon time, who speaks at this ribbon?
All you know.
do. I'm just pulling, who's emceeing? I don't know.
Well, the groundbreaking, I think it was, Audrey, Dr. Garceau, think I said a couple words, but I don't need to.
Just couple.
Actually,
No, he's nothing but bad news this day.
I know.
Yes.
No, we'll do it.
It's just a couple sentences.
I'll do
Snap
a
a couple
couple, you can do a
pictures.
couple,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Justin, if you want to speak,
Sounds good.
we'll figure out something.
Besides, town officials, what do we want to get? Invited, who do we want there? Local reps? all that?
Subcommittee, town manager.
Governor? Yeah. Where do you wanna go?
Yeah.
Definitely West Jerusalem.
Yeah, prior local officials would
Yeah.
would be good. And do we need to invite Ryan?
Yes, definitely should invite, right?
That's a good idea.
Absolutely. Do we want to bounce around and invite list? Once we get a time, or come up with?
Yeah,
it?
maybe dust off the invitation list from the groundbreaking
Great.
at
Okay,
State Street.
that's good.
So it sounds like we need to plan on meeting, for our second meeting in September on the 24th. So by that time, I think that would be, if we can revisit the dates, times, invitation list, that still gives us 3 weeks to notify people.
Absolutely.
So I think
This is, I don't know if it's a hiccup, but October 16th is faculty meeting day,
Yeah, I mean, at least the staff will be there for the ribbon
but
cutting.
then that's fine, right?
I think so, see what she says.
if he wants to do it on a different day, that's fine too. So.
I think it makes sense to do both together, but
I would
Yeah.
agree.
And then the staff will be there.
exactly, it'll be nice.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? We don't have any other members of the public here, so we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.